Okay, welcome to Arithmetic 101. In this video, we're going to talk about basic arithmetic definitions that you must understand before even begin studying. So this is going to be very, very basic for a lot of people, but it's important that you know even the most basics. Because if you don't understand the basic stuff, then you're going to have a hard time learning the harder stuff. So starting with level 1, here are some definitions to know. Sum is the result of adding two or more numbers. Difference is the result of subtracting one number from another. Product, the result of multiplying two or more numbers, and quotient, the result of dividing one number by another. For level 2 terms to know, I'll break down an example or two for each term after we run quickly through the definition for each one. Keep in mind the actual definitions of anything doesn't matter. Like the test is never going to ask you what is the definition of this word, but they might ask you to apply the definitions. So you'll see what I mean in some of the examples later. So real numbers are any number that can be placed on a number line, positive or negative. A number line is a straight line that extends infinitely in either direction, like this wonderful drawing that I made. So as you can see, we can place numbers along the number line like this. Negative 2.1, negative 1, 0, 1, square root of 1, 3 halves. Notice how you can include decimals, negatives, 0, positive, and fractions. All these things can be added onto a number line. Square root and things like pi are also real numbers. Pi and other infinite numbers can also go on a number line. So those are all real numbers. What about numbers that aren't real? Non-real numbers. Square root of a negative number is a non-real number. The imaginary unit I is a non-real number. This may not come up on your test, but let's cover it just to be thorough. The square root of a negative number introduces the imaginary unit I, that's what I stands for, imaginary, which is equal to the square root of negative 1. If you get a question that asks you to select a real number, which real number represents the total, it cannot be one of the examples from the last slide. So if there's any i's or square root of a negative number, those are not going to be the correct answer. So let's do a comprehension question to see if you understand what I just said. Which of these are real numbers? Select all that are true. You can pause real quick, answer the question, because I'm going to give it to you right now. Quick note on that, DAT questions are multiple choice with one correct answer. So this question that I have right here, select all that are true, is not going to come up on the DAT. That's not how they write questions. This is just to test your understanding. So pause the video and figure out which of these are real numbers. The correct answer, B, C, and D. So A and E are non-real numbers. That's what we just talked about. Square roots of negative numbers. The letter I, meaning imaginary number. Those were not real. The others are all real. Next term to know, integers. Real numbers and integers can be a little confusing. So let's talk about that quickly. Integers are all whole numbers. No fractions, no decimal points. That includes all negative numbers, including fractions that simplify two whole numbers. So for example, 2 over 1 is actually just 2. The idea is there's nothing left over. It's 1.0. There's no numbers after the decimal point. I don't think they would ever do this to you where they would say which of these are integers and they would throw a 2 over 1 on you to see if you know silly rules and details. But if they do, now you know. The whole point is that integers have nothing left over. The representation of a fraction or not does not matter as long as there's no numbers after the decimal point. Next term, operation, a process that takes a number and produces a single output. My definition, you're doing something to a number. So that's like most of math. It was just doing operations. Most basic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Also includes things like raising to an exponent, taking a square root, logarithms, etc. There are laws of operations. This is the part that is super important. There are laws of operations that we'll review in another video, like the PEMDAS acronym, that we need to know because if you don't follow the laws of math, the laws of operations, then you're never going to get math questions right. And last term is reciprocal. The definition of reciprocal is the result of switching the numerator, top number, and denominator, bottom number, of a fraction. So if we have the number 3/5, the reciprocal of 3/5 is 5/3, where we just swapped the top and bottom number. And the same is true in reverse. The reciprocal of 5/3 is 3/5. All right, here's your summary slide. Learn these definitions and let's keep moving.